Welcome back to Shop Former Garage. Today, got something special. Well, it ain't special. This is 2019 Ford Escape. The customer is complaining about a noise coming from the left front and found out that this hub bearing assembly, I don't know if you can see that or not, that movement, but yeah, it's got a lot of movement in this thing right here, and the bearing is just going out, and you can see where the caliper has actually been rubbing on this rotor. And this is a brand new rotor, brand new calipers, brand new brakes. Somebody put this on here, and it's got so much movement, it's rubbing on there, and it's grinding really bad. And it also has a code for a speed sensor malfunction, left front. So we're going to replace this bearing. We're going to replace the speed sensor and see if that fixes the issue. Have no idea. I guess we'll find out. This is a 2019 Ford Escape, which the Mazda Tribute and the Ford Escape shared a lot. Matter of fact, the Mazda Tribute was basically a Ford Escape in Mazda clothing, but the Mazda Tribute went away in 2012, so it's no longer. And this setup that this thing has is nowhere near what the Tribute used to have. If you see the way this knuckle right here connects into, or actually it's this strut connects into the knuckle right there, that is kind of the way the Mazda 3 has had that setup for a long time. I don't know why they do that. So why they slip that thing in there, and it's got rust on it too, and I've been juicing it down for a little while now. And of course it is a press-in bearing, which means that I need to use a press, and that thing hates me. It does. It's gonna be my demise. I'm either gonna die or I'm gonna lose my face. So if either one of those happens, you're gonna be the first to know. And here's the parts we got right here. Here's the sensor. I put the sensor, replace that sensor, and we got a new nut. I hope that's the right one for the axle. This is the hub assembly, so I can get this off of here. Here's the hub. We're gonna go ahead and replace the hub because you never know. I mean, we could get that hub off and that hub could possibly be fine. I guarantee that the race is gonna be stuck to the hub, and then we gotta get that off. Or we might as well just replace the hub. I like to just replace these because sometimes hubs get wear on them too, and whenever you get the bearing out, if you just bought a bearing and that's it, and then you get it out and find out that you need a hub, then you gotta wait for parts. So I think it's good to just go back with a new hub, and that's what we're gonna do with this one. And then this is the bearing right here. So this I'm not sure about. What I mean is I need to look into it, because the way that these usually work, at least the way they work for Mazda, is on one side of the bearing there is a actual magnetic strip, and that magnetic strip, as it spins around, this sensor, this sensor picks up that magnetic strip, and then it senses, you know, the speed of the vehicle. And I know with Mazdas, if you put you can put this bearing in like that, or you can turn around and you can put it in like that. If you put it in backwards, it won't be able to pick up that magnetic strip, and then, you know, even though the bearing's fine, your speed sensor is not going to work. So I need to look into this, because usually Mazda has a little mark, little paint mark, you know, showing you which side goes out, you know. And this doesn't, I don't see any mark on it. So I'm gonna definitely look into that before we go pressing this thing in. So that's what's on tap for today, and let's get to it. Oh no. Okay, this is what I found. This right here, I don't know if you can see that. It says make sure that the wheel bearing is installed into the knuckle with the speed sensor ring black in color towards the inner face of the wheel knuckle. So black in color. Look at this. I'm guessing they're talking about this. I mean, I'm not colorblind. That's brown. That's not black, but that's the only different color. Yeah. Okay, this is what we need to do to get this off. We have, we got to get this out of the way. We're gonna move that out. Get that out of the way. Got to disconnect the tie rod end, lower control arm, and this thing's got a lot of rust on it. Of course, we're gonna have to pull this nut out right here. The entire knuckle's gonna have to come off, and this bolt back here has to come out so we can hopefully unloosen this clamping force and get this off. This piece right here, it's weird that it has that. I've not seen that, not on Mazdas. So have to look into that. Usually you'll push these things down until they bottom out on this ridge right here, but this has this thing. I wonder if it's supposed to be that far down. I'm gonna have to look into that. And of course we gotta get the caliper off. So we'll probably start with the caliper and just move along. And you know, we're gonna have to pull this out too. It doesn't look bad. And there's the sensor down in there that we're going to be replacing. Usually to get these off, once you get this clamping force from this thing back here off, and you can just knock the heck out of this and keep knocking it, you know, with a hammer until your arm falls off. But I have another way that I used to do with the Mazda 3s, and we're going to try that with this. Hopefully if it's not rusted on too badly, you know, it'll work. Sometimes if it's too rusted, then it actually puts too much force onto the top of this strut, and we definitely don't want to bend the strut. So let me get all this taken apart and we'll see how we can get that out. Okay, let's see if we can get this loose. Big old 21 millimeter. It's not what I'm used to on these calipers. Oh. Yeah, it does have a little bit of Loctite on it. It looks to me like this vehicle may have been wrecked at some point. It's got a couple new rims, new wheels on it, and this caliper right here, right along, right there, I don't know if you can see that, it's got a bunch of numbers and stuff. Looks like it came from a salvage yard. So I wonder if they replaced this knuckle. I'm just gonna let that hang. If they replace this knuckle and just let the you know, left the same old bearing in it, but you can see those numbers right there. That usually you see that, you know, when the vehicle or when parts comes from a salvage yard, you'll have numbers and stuff like that on there. And this is a brand new rotor. I don't know if you can kind of see where the rotor was actually rubbing right in here. What's causing those marks on that rotor. Let me get all this other junk off of here. I can see more of those numbers right here. That backing plate off of there. It looks like an 8. That's gonna work. And for now, I'm just gonna let this caliper hang. It's not gonna, it ain't gonna hurt it. I get the upper end link off. Guessing that's a, nope. 15. It's a 16. Oh, and of course that's not going to want to come off because got too much rust. Okay, let's see if we can take care of this. Get a little bit of juice on that. See if we can persuade it to come off. There it goes. Where'd it go? Never see that again. Nah, I found it. Okay, that's off. That. Next. And that's gonna take a little bit of persuasion. And get the persuader here. I only hope that comes off just as easy. And yeah, I need to get this off. That's probably next. Well, you can see, that's hot. You can see the movement in this You can imagine how much noise that thing was making. Yeah, it was definitely noisy. And let's see what size this is. It's not a 16 like everything else. It's not a 17. And nobody knows where my 18 is. And it's not a 19, so yeah. Let me find that. Well, now. Well, that was nice. Hopefully the ball joint will pop out as easily as this thing did. Can only hope. Let's find out. I'm gonna have to get this thing up. Well, maybe. Are you kidding me? So this rusted thing, well, of course this was replaced at one time. We'll see. Oh my God. So we'll see how easily this comes off. And that's all I need to do is take this off. That axle's pretty much coming out. Just need to take this off. And if this thing comes off as easy as all this other stuff, then, you know, maybe it is the day that I lose my face or die from that press, because that's just been too easy. So yeah, let me get the setup and I'll see if I can get this knocked off the same way that I used to do those Mazda 3s. So, okay, I need to get this back cross bolt out. And I'll figure out how to set this up. And this is the way that I've done them before. Is basically you get this bottle jack and you run her up on the top over here. That is if you can keep it from sliding down. But you run her up on the top and you just start jacking on it. Just like that. And I don't know if you can see that. She's coming right off. I mean, like butter, seriously. And I mean, you would spend probably an hour pounding on this thing to try and get it off. With a hammer, you can't swing your arms anymore. That might be it. It might be loose. Let's see, the axle is actually stuck in it. Maybe I do want to knock it. Ooh, just like that. Okay. And then now the axle is stuck. Well, it's coming out fine. Let's see if I can knock this loose. Without hurting it, of course. Okay. I just use this brass hammer so I wouldn't mess up the end of the axle. And there it is. So I'm gonna get this over to the press. start the presses. Okay, before we head over there, look at this. This is kind of concerning. And there's so much movement here. That right there is the end of the sensor. So this is the sensor, and that's it. You know, maybe it's this way. I'm not sure. Anyway, and you can see how much movement. So maybe that's why this sensor, you know, was setting a code. But that movement seems to me to be this entire hub assembly. I mean, not just the hub, but the entire bearing inside there. Well, I'll take it apart and we'll find out for sure. But it's almost like this entire bearing is moving, even this outer race inside this hub assembly. Because normal bearing wear, you're going to have this inner race right here moving separately from the outer race. So if that's the case, then we're going to need to get another hub, you know, I mean another knuckle. Because yeah, we definitely can't let that go. It's supposed to be pressed in, and there's a clip right here. So what you normally do is you're going to press out this hub assembly from this side, and then you're going to take this clip off, and of course we need to get that sensor out of there, and then you'll press the bearing off, you know, this way from this side. We'll press it that way, and you know, after you get this clip off. But the way it's looking like it's not going to be pressed off, it looks like it's just going to come out of there. We'll see. We'll see what it does. I may be completely wrong. So yeah, I could be wrong. I mean, because there does show a little bit of movement right there. Right there. So hopefully I am. So I'm going to get this sensor pulled out of here. Little Torx right there. That might be a T20 or something like that. And then we'll head on over to the press with all these goodies, and we'll get this pressed out of there, and hopefully I don't lose my face. Okay, here we are at the medieval torture device, and this has been replaced, and this is really nice because it's pneumatic, you know, so I don't have to sit right here in front of it, you know, cranking the thing, waiting for my face to get blown off. But as you can tell, it has been through hell and back, and usually that's caused by people that don't know how to use it. As a matter of fact, I guarantee you that's why that's all bent up, because, you know, people don't know how to use it, and they use it before they ask. And should have asked their shop foreman. Yeah. Anyway, so we're gonna get that hub or that knuckle put in here, and try and push that that hub assembly out of there. So let me get that set up. This is how we do stuff around here. We just kind of stack stuff and try and make it work. There is a special tool for grabbing this thing down here and holding on to it, but there ain't enough room, and we don't have anything that special. I do need to maneuver this in a way that it's not gonna hit this crossbar coming on here. I have this piece that'll fit in there, and I know it fits because here's the new bearing, you know, so. And we'll just stack stuff on top of this and then press it down and see what happens, see what flies off. Okay, let's see what happens. All right, nobody died yet. Get this up out of the way here, pull this out, and as you can see, or maybe you can't see, the race came out on the other hub. So, and they always do that. This race is on here. But instead of having to worry about trying to get this race off of here, we're replacing this entire hub anyway. So now, throw that aside. Need to get this clip out of here, and of course we didn't get a new clip, so we're going to reuse this clip. It shouldn't be that big of a deal. There's no stress on it. We'll find out once we get it out. Okay, let me see if I can get this clip out without the camera falling over on top of this. And that's, oh man, look at that. I still have my face. That came out super easy. We can see. Now we need to press this out from the other side. Let's get this back up on the press. Okay, this is really sketchy. So you see the space down in here. Should be enough space to get the bearing race to push out. And so we're going to be pushing on this right here, and we're actually pushing up on the bearings that's in there, and hopefully those bearings will push down on the race. If the bearing starts to come apart and they start going everywhere, then we'll just have to you know, try something else. But let's try this and see what happens. Okay, you can see how someone can lose their face. So that thing flies out of there, no telling where it's going. And so this ain't gonna work. You can see I'm pushing on these bearings right here, and now they're coming apart. So let's get all that clear out of there, and probably try and break this seal out of here. That way I can get to the inner race. The inner race is right in there, and I need to have something to push on. So you can see well, I say inner race, it's actually the outer race that I'm pushing on. That's an inner race from the other side. So yeah, I need to get these bearings out of here so I can push on that. Okay, back to this sketchiness. So this thing sitting up there the way it was, and this is the outer race, and this barely catches it, but it definitely catches it. It's not going to fall through. And then I'm going to stack this on top of there, and we're going to press that and see what happens. Here we go. And make sure this thing is locked in. Of course it wasn't, so lock this thing in. Here we go. Okay, knocked all my lights on. There it goes. That is it. So when the thing popped, it popped my lights loose, but that is definitely it. You can see it is out completely. There it is. Okay, getting this on should be a little bit easier. I don't know if you can see that right there is the hole for the sensor, where the sensor comes through. And according to the thing I read, this is the wrong side, that's the right side. So this side needs to come up. Since the sensor is up here, and looking at it this way, the sensor is up here on the top. And so once we press this down, this will be closest to where the sensor will be, and so it should go in just like that. And see if that stays there. just so you know, I mean, here's the press, and you see this, it's kind of in the way a little bit, you know, so that's why we got to kind of bring this thing to the side a little bit so it clears this as we press this thing down. And we get something, and we can push right in the center, and we shouldn't have any problem. If we push right here in the center, should not have any problem. We don't have to reach all the way to the end of this race. As long as it's an even push and it's going down straight and doesn't get all cattywampus on us, then we should be fine. See if I can get something else to fit, and that will not. That will fit. So tighten this down, make sure that it's gonna move. Grab the pneumatic air handler, and here we go. Okay, that's getting cattywampus. Okay, so I'm going to move this over just a little bit. Basically put my center line over here because that's where it's high. Tighten this thing down again, and let's push that side. Okay. So let's straighten it out. Let's loosen it up. Bring her back in the center. Let's go again. Okay, all the way down. Loosen it up. And then it looks like it's down all the way. Let's get that clip in there. That is definitely looks like it's down all the way. So let's get that clip in here. Okay, they say to put this clip in a way, so right there is that hole for the sensor. So I need to get the clip in so that clip is not covering that hole. So let me get this on here. That into place there. Where's the holes? Right there. It's not covering it, so that is pretty much it. It's in there. All right, now we just need to push the new hub in from this other side right here. We'll push the hub in, and of course when we're pushing on this hub, we need to back up this race right here so that when the hub comes through here, it doesn't grab this inner race and push it out, because it will do that. So it's pretty easy. Putting it on is a lot easier than taking it off. So I will get it set up and I'll show you how we do that. Alright, so I have this right here set down so it's sitting on that bottom race like that. So try and get that set exactly like that. So it's actually kind of rotating on that bottom race there. Bring this up. And of course this is going to go right inside there. And I need to get that to come straight down. Now I need to get something to go in here. Oh, hang on. Yeah, I'm gonna have to hold this because it is not stable. Maybe this. this. Okay. So I'm going to get that on there so it's straight, as straight as I can get it. It's rotating on there. Put this top of that. This little piece on top of there. Tighten this down. My finger. Try and hold this straight. And move this thing. Now that it's catching, it's going in there. I can still rotate this. It rotates really easily. And that is it. It's all the way down. This thing's still rotating very easily. Loosen this up. Get it out of the way. Get that. Look, that's stuck. Oh, that's great. I have to knock that out. But here's a piece that was underneath it, and there it is, all the way in, rotating perfectly fine. So that's it. I only hope that this is the correct side for the sensor, otherwise we're gonna have to put another bearing, because taking these bearings out, and like you saw, they come apart. The inner race gets stuck on the hub assembly, and I have to knock this, there it is, this off. Oh, that's it. Let's get back to the vehicle. If you are doing a job like this and you don't have one of those presses, that's okay, guys. You don't have to have one of those presses. A lot of times your local parts store has a press, and they'll do it for you. You can pull the knuckle out, take it to them. If not, you know, a local shop or something that has a press, you know, usually for a very small fee, they'll do it for you. So don't be afraid to do a job like this. You don't have to you know, take a chance at, you know, blowing your face off or dying because the press blew up in it. Just get the knuckle off and get it to your local parts store, and you know, call them ahead of time. See if they do that. Some parts stores do actually have a press, and they do that for customers for a small fee. So check it out. Let's see if we can get this in here. I went ahead and I got the new sensor in right there. Try and get this centered up there. And get the lower control arm first. Got it on the lower control arm and push this down. Well, if it's even possible. I gotta push this down and get this in place. Come on. Okay. Oops. Oh. Get a pry bar on that. Okay. Now this thing has to pop all the way up and through here, and I did check the other side, and the other side just has this little tab here. So that went pretty good, but let we need it to go all the way up. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna let it down, use that bottle jack to push the thing up to sandwich this together. So let's see if that works. Okay, so I got this bottle jack hooked up right here, and I'm just gonna push on that and see if I can get this thing to push up onto there. And it is compressing this spring right here. So once I get it high enough, if it's not compressing all the way down the way it was, then I will have to let the vehicle down, get more pressure on it. Oh, okay, I guess you saw that. So the thing popped right into place, right where it was before. And of course my light went flying. So it's all right. Yeah, so get all this stuff back together. That was the main thing, getting that together. So let me get all this other junk put on here and see what happens. So now that I got this on here, I need to torque this down. The torque on this is 59 foot-pounds. I don't know if you can see that as the reflection. Anyway, 59 foot-pounds. 59 foot-pounds doesn't seem very much, and it's not. But it's 59 foot-pounds and then 90 degrees. It's like a torque to yield type thing, I guess. So I'm gonna torque it right there. That's not much. Actually, that's more than 59. That's 65. But whatever. Then I need to change this to angle mode. I mean, 90 degrees is pretty simple. So 90 degrees is 90 degrees. This thing is taking a little while to make up its mind. Okay, 89, 90 degrees right there. Stick this back in there. That always happens every time. I just try and get a good bite on this socket. Okay. Over maximum torque of 110%. Turn off, stop. Stop it. I get it. Okay, you know what? There, fixed. Battery out. Done. 90 degrees. Perfect. Okay, I wanted to show this to you. You may have caught this already, and if you did, man, good for you, because I didn't catch it right away. And it didn't really make sense to me, but I was like, whatever. Until I put this strut back in here, and then I realized, man, something ain't right. And what it is this piece right here that's poking over. I'm like, what the heck is that? Never seen that before. And it's weird that this piece right here isn't going all the way down. This should sit all the way down right here, but it's not. And I'm like, what is that piece? And then what I realized, this piece right here, I don't know if I can show this to you, it goes in this groove. That's where it belongs. That piece is supposed to be straight down in here. It's not supposed to be bent over, but that's the way it was when I took it off. Now, if I go and look at this side, and of course this side the wheel is on, but if I look up here, there's that same piece. It's bent over. And I mean, look how close this bracket is to the tire. That ain't right. And it's because the strut is turned that direction. Now, that being said, I inquired about it, and the powers that be, the powers of over my pay grade, said put it back the way that it was. So that's what I'm gonna do. But I'm just letting you guys know that ain't right, and I know it's not right. So when you saw that and you saw that, hey, that ain't right, you know, I know, I saw it. I finally saw it. You caught it before I did, but I saw it. But we're gonna let it be for now and see what happens. We're definitely going to drive this thing. I need to get in there and clear whatever code that was set. And they had like 3 codes set for this speed sensor here. So I'm going to clear that code and then drive it and see what happens. We're definitely going to drive it and see if it sets any more codes and make sure it doesn't make any more noise or anything. It looks, as far as the bearing goes, everything looks right. So I'm gonna get the wheel put on here, make sure this thing ain't touching the tire, because that ain't gonna be right. And we'll go drive it and see how it acts. All right, let's do that. Okay, I got my Alltel Max Assist here, and these are the codes that I had. Basically left front speed sensor code. So I'm gonna go ahead and clear those. I'm gonna clear that right now, go through the system and make sure all codes are cleared and everything. And that's clearing that right now. This is, I don't know, this is kind of weird, because I was sitting here with this and I was just kind of like moving this around like this, and then right up here on the display it said, and I ain't kidding you, it said to call 911 you need a phone hooked up. I didn't know that I was dialing 911, but hopefully I don't have to. And let me finish getting these codes cleared. I'm gonna recheck it and make sure that nothing else shows up. And then I seem to have lost one of my camera mounts, so see if I can find that, and then we'll take this on the road and see how it performs. The weird thing about those struts is usually struts, if you turn them, they're set a certain way so that you have the proper camber and caster on the front suspension for the front steering, you know, so the vehicle will drive straight down the road. If you turn a strut, then it changes your camber and caster, and usually that's the way on vehicles that you can adjust the caster on and camber. That's one of the ways that you would do it, is by turning the strut to do that adjustment. Of course, I don't believe that this vehicle has any kind of adjustment on the front end as far as caster and camber other than just toe in. But maybe we know the thing was wrecked at one point. Maybe somebody, you know, did some shenanigans and moved those struts to get it to drive straight. I don't know. I guess if that's the case, then we'll find out. So yeah, let me get through this and we'll go drive it and see what happens. Well, I can tell you for sure that noise is gone. That's right. No more noise. So let's see how it drives after we get through this light. so far so good. I mean, she's driving straight. Steering wheel is like a little bit angled to the left. I don't know if it was like that before. That hub bearing was so bad that there was no possible way I was going to try and drive that thing on the highway. There's no way at all. It's way too, way too messed up. You could see how that thing was rubbing up against the rotor was actually rubbing up against the caliper, as there was so much movement in it. But I mean, it's driving straight, other than the steering wheel being off to the left just a little bit, and I mean just a little bit. She seems all right. We'll see how. We'll see what the customer says. If they complain about the steering wheel being off to the left a little bit, then maybe we need to do alignment. At least adjust the toe can straighten out the steering wheel. But like I said, I don't think there's any kind of adjustment for cam bar caster in this thing. I don't hear any rubbing noises. Before, the customer was saying that it made noise driving straight and turning right, but when you turn left, the noise would go away. And that's typical, because whenever you turn left, it takes the load off of the left hub bearing, so the noise should go away. You turn right, it puts load on the left hub bearing, so then it would make more noise. But I mean, yeah, he was right. It was making noise just driving down the street, just driving straight, just in the parking lot. Of course, that hub bearing was really bad. So let's get back to the shop. Well, that's going to do it for this episode. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.